Hello there, and welcome to the Sleep Porch. Tonight, we'll be discovering one of the world's oldest, most feared, and often misunderstood animals. Sharks belong to a world of silent hunters, ancient predators, and creatures shaped by currents for millions of years. When most people think of sharks, they picture danger and razor-sharp teeth. If this content interests you, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates us to continue creating more meaningful videos. But there is so much more to these majestic creatures than meets the eye. There are species that glow in the dark, gentle giants with no teeth, and a fascinating history that stretches all the way back to the dinosaurs. Sharks are living time capsules finely tuned by evolution, balancing marine ecosystems in ways we are only beginning to understand. The deeper we look, the more surprising they become. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, there is nothing you need to do but get settled in. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breath slow, and allow the day to softly drift away as we explore these ancient creatures together. Let's begin. Sharks have endured 5 mass extinctions, outlasting most forms of life on Earth. Long before dinosaurs appeared, sharks were already gliding through ancient oceans. When catastrophic die-offs swept across the planet, ocean chemistry shifted, coastlines reshaped, and entire groups disappeared. Sharks survived those upheavals again and again. Part of that endurance comes from diversity. Some lived along shallow coastal waters. Others moved through deeper regions. Some specialized, while others adapted to many food sources. Over time, lineages rose and faded, yet the broader story continued. Their bodies played a role as well. A skeleton made of cartilage is lighter than bone, and efficient movement conserves energy when food becomes scarce. Survival is never certain. Still, sharks repeatedly found a path through catastrophe. When you encounter a shark today, you are seeing a successful design that has endured Earth's harshest resets. Some sharks must keep moving, or they may slowly suffocate. For many species, breathing is tied to motion. Water needs to pass over the gills to deliver oxygen, and the easiest way is to swim with the mouth slightly open. As the shark moves forward, water streams in, flows across gill surfaces, and exits through the gill slits. If that steady flow stops for too long, oxygen levels in the blood begin to fall. That is why certain sharks seem restless. Even when they look calm, their movement is life support. It shapes everything about them. They favor open water. They choose routes that keep current moving, and they often sleep in a way that still allows forward motion. It is a demanding design, yet it comes with a benefit. A body built for constant cruising can cover distance fast, search wide areas, and seize brief opportunities in the ocean's shifting world. A shark can detect a tiny electric field from a hidden heartbeat. In the ocean, every living creature leaks faint electricity. Muscles firing, nerves signaling, and even the steady rhythm of a heart create microscopic fields in the water. Sharks have special sensors that can pick up those signals, and the effect is almost like a sixth sense. Imagine a fish hiding under sand, perfectly still, with no splash or flash to give it away. A shark can sweep past and still notice it, because life itself whispers through the water. This ability becomes especially powerful at close range, when visibility is poor and camouflage is excellent. It can also help during the final moments of a hunt, and the prey is struggling and the signals intensify. To a shark, the ocean is not silent. It is alive with tiny electrical hints that can point to a meal even in darkness. Many sharks can smell blood from far away in moving seawater. Smelling the ocean is not a straight line. Currents twist and braid scent into drifting trails, and the shark's world becomes a map made of invisible ribbons. When a shark catches a scent, it does not simply race forward. It can angle into the flow, test the water again, then adjust, almost like following a winding road. Its nostrils are built for sampling, not breathing, and the inside is lined with sensitive tissue that reads chemical signals with remarkable precision. Blood is only one part of the story. Sharks can also detect the odor of stressed fish, injured animals, and crowded feeding events. The sea carries those messages over distance, and a shark can arrive like a quiet shadow from nowhere. That is why a single spill of scent can change the mood of a reef. It can call in a traveler from beyond your sight, guided by water and chemistry alone. Shark skin is lined with tiny tooth-shaped scales that help them swim more efficiently. Run your hand the wrong way along a shark's body, and it can feel like sandpaper. That roughness comes from countless tiny structures on the skin that resemble miniature teeth. They are not just armor, they shape the water. Each one helps guide flow along the body, reducing turbulence and making swimming more efficient. In the ocean, efficiency is everything. Less drag means less energy burned during a patrol, and more speed available when a chase begins. These scales also protect the animal from scrapes, parasites, and the wear of saltwater life. Engineers have studied the surface texture for ideas that might help boats, aircraft, and swimwear move. Nature solved a fluid dynamics problem long before humans started measuring it. When you see a shark glide with barely a flick of the tail, you are watching skin that does more than cover. It actively shapes the water around it. Sharks are older than trees, with ancestors stretching deep into prehistory. It is strange to picture a world with sharks but no forests. Yet the earliest shark relatives appeared long before trees took hold on land. Their story begins in seas that looked nothing like today's oceans, with unfamiliar coastlines and ancient life forms drifting through warm waters. Over immense spans of time, shark lineages experimented, bodies changed, feeding styles shifted, and new habitats opened. Some forms disappeared, and others gave rise to modern groups. The result is not one unbroken march, but a long, branching history that keeps returning to a winning idea. A streamlined predator that senses its world in multiple ways and can thrive in many places. Thinking about that timeline can make the present feel thin. A shark cruising past a reef is not a new invention. It is the latest chapter of an ancient design that has had more time than trees to refine itself. Some sharks glow in the dark, making their bodies harder to spot. In the deep sea, darkness is not empty. Many animals produce their own light, and some sharks do too. Tiny light organs can shimmer along the belly, creating a soft glow that matches the faint brightness from above. This trick is called counter-illumination, and it can erase a silhouette. Predators looking upward see less of a shadow. Prey scanning the water below sees less of a shape. It is camouflage made from light itself. In other cases, patterns of glow may help with recognition in a world where color fades and sound carries strangely. Bioluminescence also hints at how strange shark diversity can be. Not every shark is a fast, open water hunter. Some are built for the deep, where patience matters, where meals are rare, and where light is a tool. The idea that a shark can glow surprises people because it feels like science fiction. Yet it is part of real ocean life. A great white can replace teeth for life like a conveyor belt. A shark's teeth are tools, and tools wear out. A great white bites into tough prey, and the edges can chip, crack, or break away. Instead of being stuck with damage, it carries a supply line. New teeth form in rows within the jaw, then gradually move forward. When one tooth is lost, another is already prepared to replace it. The result is like a living workshop that never shuts down. This matters because hunting is rough. Even a clean bite can cost a tooth. Replacement allows the predator to remain effective across decades. It also affects how we discover sharks in the fossil record, since discarded teeth can settle and fossilize when the rest of the body cannot. People often focus on the bite, but the deeper marvel lies in the system behind it. A great white doesn't simply have sharp teeth. It carries a lifelong method for staying sharp, no matter how many battles it survives. Sharks have no true bones, only strong and flexible cartilage. Inside a shark, the skeleton is formed from cartilage rather than bone. It is the same substance you can feel in your own nose and ears, but strengthened and shaped for a powerful swimmer. Cartilage is lighter than bone, and that can support buoyancy and energy efficiency in the water. It also allows a kind of flex that supports quick turns and strong tail beats. Over time, some parts can harden with minerals, which adds strength without becoming true bone. This different framework changes how a shark grows and moves. It also changes how sharks appear after death. Bone often fossilizes, while cartilage rarely does. So much of shark history is told through teeth and scattered traces. The lack of bones does not mean weakness. It means a different solution. Sharks are built like living springs and blades, tuned for motion, stability, and survival in a dense, resisting world. Some sharks give live birth, while others lay egg cases called mermaid purses. Shark reproduction is not one single story. In some species, the young develop inside the mother and are born alive, already formed and ready to swim. In other species, the mother lays a tough, leathery egg case that anchors to the seafloor or tangles into seaweed. People sometimes find these cases on beaches and call them mermaid purses. Inside, an embryo grows slowly, protected from rough water and many predators. This variety reflects different strategies for survival. Live birth can produce larger, more capable pups at the start. Egg cases can spread risk across time and place, and they allow the mother to move on without carrying the young for as long. Each approach has trade-offs shaped by habitat, food supply, and danger. When you think of sharks, it is easy to picture one style of life. Reproduction shows a much broader picture. Sharks are not one kind of animal. They are a whole range of solutions built for many seas. The whale shark is the largest fish alive, yet it eats plankton. Picture a creature longer than a bus, moving with the patience of a drifting cloud. Instead of hunting seals or tearing at prey, it feeds by filtering the sea itself. The mouth can open wide, water pours in, and tiny life is captured as it passes through specialized filters. That tiny life includes plankton, small crustaceans, and fish eggs, the glittering confetti of the ocean. Whale sharks often gather where food booms near coral spawning, seasonal plankton surges, or upwelling currents that lift nutrients from the deep. Their spots are unique, like fingerprints, which lets researchers recognize individuals over many years. It is a stunning reminder that size does not always mean menace. Sometimes, the biggest presence in the water is there for a meal you could barely see. Greenland sharks can live for centuries, growing with astonishing slowness. In Arctic and subarctic waters, life moves at a different pace. Greenland sharks glide through icy darkness, where cold temperatures slow metabolism and meals can be widely spaced. They grow so gradually that a large individual may be older than many nations. And scientists have used careful methods to estimate lifespans that reach into centuries. Their world is quiet, deep, and often dim under ice and long winter nights. They can feed on fish and carry on, taking what the sea offers without the hurry of warmer waters. This slow life comes with trade-offs. They also mature late, which makes their populations vulnerable if too many are removed. Still, the concept is breathtaking. A shark may be swimming today that was already alive when whole human eras were just beginning. It is not a sprinting predator story. It is an endurance story, written in cold water. The dwarf lantern shark fits in a hand and hunts at night in the deep ocean. Small can be powerful. This tiny shark lives far below the bright surface where darkness presses in and dinner is never guaranteed. Its body carries light-producing patches that can glow, which helps it disappear from predators below by matching the faint light from above. Then it can slip closer to small fish and drifting invertebrates without being noticed. The night shift of the deep sea is not about speed. It is about timing, stealth, and sensing the slightest movement in cold water. A jaw full of fine teeth can seize prey quickly, and a compact body wastes little energy while it searches. The idea is almost unbelievable. A shark so small you could cradle it, using light as camouflage in an environment that feels like another planet. It shows how the word shark includes far more than the usual movie image. Hammerhead eyes are spread wide, boosting depth perception and scanning range. A hammerhead looks like it was designed by a curious engineer. That wide head places the eyes far apart, which can improve depth perception and widen the field of view. It also gives room for an expanded array of sensory paws, helping the shark read its surroundings with unusual detail. When a hammerhead sweeps over sand, it can search a broad strip in a single pass. Rays and other flat prey often hide by burying themselves, and the hammerhead's strange shape helps it pin and control them during a hunt. Some hammerhead species also gather in impressive groups at certain sites, circling above seamounts and islands as if the ocean has set a meeting point. Their silhouette is unforgettable, yet the real wonder is function. Every strange angle has a job. What looks like a cartoon profile is a serious solution for seeing, sensing, and surviving. Thresher sharks can whip prey with a tail nearly body length. A thresher shark carries a weapon that seems unfair. The upper lobe of its tail can be extraordinarily long, sometimes close to the length of the rest of its body. Instead of relying only on teeth, it can use that tail like a whip. The shark rushes a school of fish, then snaps the tail through the water with a sudden crack of force. The strike can stun or injure multiple fish at once, turning a fast-moving swarm into scattered, vulnerable targets. It is hunting as choreography, a burst of speed, a tight turn, then a precise blow. This tail is not decoration. It is a tool shaped for a specific problem, which is how to break the unity of schooling prey. Watching footage of a thresher at work feels like seeing a new rule of the ocean. It reminds you that predators do not all sell hunger the same way. Mako sharks are built for speed, with warm muscles and sharp turns. Makos are the sprinters of the shark world, sleek and powerful with a body shaped to cut through water cleanly. What makes them even more extraordinary is heat. Parts of their muscles can run warmer than the surrounding sea, which boosts performance in cold or moderate waters. Warmer muscle fibers contract faster, and that can translate into explosive acceleration when prey tries to flee. Mako also have a stiffened tail region and strong keys along the body that help stabilize high-speed movement. Like a racer's design features, their hunting style can be a chase that ends in a lightning strike, often aimed with startling precision. They're also known for dramatic leaps when hopped or startled, launching from the water with pure kinetic energy. Speed in the ocean is expensive. A Mako pays that cost with efficient design, and the reward is the ability to turn a wide, empty seascape into a hunting ground. Tiger sharks eat an unusually wide menu, from fish to birds. Some predators are specialists, but tiger sharks can be astonishing generalists. They patrol coastal waters, reefs, and open stretches, and they seem willing to investigate almost anything that might be food. Fish, rays, turtles, seabirds, squid, and carrion can all be on the menu, depending on what is available. That flexibility helps them thrive in changing conditions, where one food source might vanish and another suddenly appears. Their teeth are broad and serrated, designed for cutting through tough material, which fits an animal that may switch between very different meals. This reputation for eating widely has also led to famous stomach discoveries, which can sound shocking that the deeper story is ecological opportunity. A tiger shark is built to take advantage of variety, and that makes it a powerful presence in coastal ecosystems. It is not just a hunter. It is an adaptable problem solver moving through a messy, unpredictable ocean. Nurse sharks can rest on the sea floor, pumping water over gills. Not every shark must cruise endlessly. Nurse sharks often spend daylight hours resting in caves, under ledges, or piled together in sheltered spots on the sea floor. They can breathe while staying still by using a pumping action that draws water in and pushes it over the gills. This opens a different lifestyle. Instead of constant roaming, they can conserve energy, wait out the heat of the day, and become active when conditions suit them. At night, they may glide over the bottom, searching for prey hidden in crevices, using strong suction to pull animals out of their hiding places. Their barbels near the mouth help them sense food on the substrate, giving them a search method that feels more like foraging than chasing. Seeing a nurse shark resting can surprise people who only imagine non-stop motion. It is a reminder that sharks include quiet bottom dwellers too, with their own clever way of living. Wobbegong sharks ambush from camouflage using a sudden suction strike. A wobbegong can look like part of the reef itself. Its body is flattened, patented, and fringed with skin flaps around the mouth that break up the outline. Lying still on the seafloor, it becomes hard to separate from rock, coral, and shadow. Then the strategy changes in an instant. When a fish swims close, the wobbegong opens its mouth rapidly and creates a powerful suction pull. The prey is yanked inward before it can even understand what happened. This is ambush hunting in its purest form. No long chase, no warning burst of speed, just stillness and timing. Because it relies on disguise, it can hunt in complex habitats where quick pursuits are difficult. It is also a good reminder that danger in the ocean is not always moving. Sometimes it is lying quietly in plain sight, waiting for one careless moment. The reef is full of eyes, and some of them belong to a shark you did not notice. Goblin sharks can munch their jaws forward like a spring trap. Deep below the surface, where encounters are brief and food can be scarce, goblin sharks carry an astonishing mechanism. Their jaws are not fixed in place like ours. They can shoot forward rapidly, extending out from the head to snatch prey at a distance. It is like a surprise lunge built into the face itself. In the dim, deep sea, a quick strike matters. A fish that drifts close may be gone in a blink, and the jaw extension helps close that gap before the opportunity vanishes. The goblin shark's long snout is also packed with sensory pause, which helps it detect movement and electrical signals in the water. Its look is famously strange, but the strangeness is functional. This animal is shaped for a world where you cannot rely on sight, where meals are rare, and where the best strategy is to turn a close pass into a capture. It is one of the clearest examples that evolution can build solutions that feel almost unreal. A shark's lateral line senses pressure waves from struggling prey. Along each side runs a hidden sensory network that turns water movement into information. When a fish flicks its tail, when a school turns as one, when something panics and thrashes, it sends tiny pressure changes outward like ripples. The lateral line reads those ripples. It helps a shark aim in low visibility when sand clouds the water or night hides outlines. It can also help during the final seconds of a pursuit when the target tries to juke and vanish. The body of the shark becomes a listening instrument, feeling motion rather than seeing it. This ability also supports navigation through narrow spaces. It can signal nearby rocks and reefs by how currents curve around them. For a hunter that often travels through dim blue water, sensing the ocean's unseen vibrations can mark the difference between a missed opportunity and a precise strike. Many sharks are especially attuned to low vibrations, the frequencies made by injured fish. Sound carries far underwater, and it behaves differently than it does in air. Low vibrations can travel across great distances, moving through water like a distant drumbeat. Sharks are tuned to detect those deeper tones, the kind created by struggling animals splashing near the surface, or frantic tail movements below. One disturbance can become a signal. The shark does not need to see the source yet. It can orient toward the sound, narrowing the distance with calm determination. As it draws closer, other senses begin to guide it. But hearing may be the earliest clue that something is unfolding. This is why certain feeding events can seem to summon sharks from nowhere. The ocean is wide, yet sound stitches it together. For the shark, a wounded fish is not only a smell trail, it can also be a low, urgent vibration that cuts through darkness and distance, calling a predator toward opportunity. Sharks taste with their mouths, but also sample water with sensory pits. To a shark, the ocean is a soup of information. Taste matters when a bite happens, but chemical clues arrive earlier too. Water passes across sensory openings on the head, and the shark can read traces of life in that flow. It can distinguish prey from plants and can recognize signals that suggest stress or injury. This helps it decide whether to investigate further or to move on and keep searching. In a habitat where visibility changes by the minute, chemical sampling can be more reliable than sight. It also helps a shark follow a trail that is thin and broken because it can keep checking the water as it moves. The hunt becomes a series of small decisions guided by invisible chemistry. When you imagine a shark searching, do not picture only teeth and speed. Picture an animal tasting the sea itself, constantly gathering clues from the water around it. A shark's liver is huge and oily, helping it stay buoyant. Most bony fish have a swim bladder that acts like a built-in float. But sharks use a different trick. Their liver can be enormous, and it is rich in oils that are less dense than sea eater. That gives the body lift, so the shark can stay higher in the water column without burning as much energy. It is like carrying an internal buoyancy aid that also stores fuel. When food is scarce, those energy reserves matter. The liver supports long patrols, migrations, and periods when hunting is not successful. It also shapes the way sharks move. A shark often glides between tailbeats, conserving strength, then surges when it chooses to. This design helps explain how some species can cruise for long distances across open ocean. Staying afloat is not free in a world without a swim bladder. The shark pays with anatomy, and it gains endurance in return. Some sharks roll their eyes back to protect them during a bite. A feeding moment can be chaotic. Prey twists, bone scrapes, and sharp fins fight back. For some sharks, the eyes have a dramatic defense. As the jaws open, the eyes can rotate back into the head, turning vulnerable surfaces away from the struggle. It looks eerie, yet it is practical. A damaged eye can mean a lifetime of disadvantage, so protection matters when hunting is violent and close. Other sharks use a different approach, with a tough membrane that slides over the eye like a shield. Either way, the goal is the same: keep vision safe while teeth do their work. This is one of those details that changes how you imagine a bite. It is not only aggression, it is risk management. A shark is built to hunt, but it is also built to avoid injury in the moments when injury is most likely. Even the eyes have a plan. Sharks can quickly heal wounds that would many other animals. Life in the ocean is full of scrapes and bites. A shark may collide with rocks during a chase, or take damage from prey that refuses to surrender. Yet many sharks recover with surprising speed. Their skin and immune defenses can limit infection in salty water that teems with microbes. Cats can close, and damaged tissue can repair, sometimes leaving only pale scars as evidence. This matters because a predator cannot stop living while it heals. It still needs to swim, feed, and avoid larger threats. Rapid recovery keeps it functional. Scars on wild sharks tell stories of survival. They hint at past battles, near misses, and hard seasons. Scientists study these healing abilities to understand how sharks resist infection and manage tissue repair. The lesson is not that sharks are invincible, it is that they are durable in a way that fits their world. The ocean does not offer a safe bed to recover in. Sharks carry the resilience with them. Shark teeth are replaced continuously because feeding breaks them often. Teeth take punishment. They scrape against rough skin, they hit bone, and they can snap when prey thrashes at the worst possible angle. Sharks answer this problem with constant renewal. Behind the visible teeth sits a reserve, with new ones developing in rows. Over time, they rotate forward and take position at the front edge of the jaw. This system means damage does not end a shark's ability to feed. It also means a shark can use its teeth boldly without needing to protect them like a fragile set. That confidence shapes hunting behavior. A shark can bite, release, and bite again, while its mouth remains armed for the next opportunity. This renewal also explains why beaches sometimes reveal shark teeth like dark little triangles polished by sand and tide. Each tooth is not a rare treasure to the shark. It is a tool that can be replaced again and again across a lifetime of hunting. Some sharks can lock their jaws out, gripping prey with less effort. Holding on to struggling prey costs energy. A powerful fish can shake, twist, and wrench with surprising force. Some sharks have jaw mechanics that can brace and stabilize the bite, which helps them maintain a grip without relying only on continuous muscle strain. That can be crucial during a fight that lasts longer than a quick snap. A steadier hold also allows the shark to reposition, so it can turn a messy struggle into a controlled capture. In the ocean, a brief mistake can lose the meal. It can also invite competition from other predators drawn by splashing and scent. Efficient grouping is not just about strength. It is about control. This kind of mechanical advantage shows how detailed shark anatomy can be. The head is not a simple hinge with teeth. It is a finely tuned system of joints, cartilage, and muscle that turns pressure into purchase. When the bite lands, the shark is not only biting, it is locking in a plam. Many sharks have spiracles, extra openings that pull water while resting. Just behind the eyes, some sharks have small openings that look almost like tiny ears. These are spiracles, and they can draw water in when the mouth is not ideal for breathing. This is especially useful for sharks that spend time on the sea floor. When a shark rests on sand, the mouth can be clogged with grit, and the gills still need a steady flow of oxygen-rich water. Spiracles let the shark pull cleaner water from above, then pass it over the gills. This supports a quieter lifestyle, where the shark can wait in place, conserve energy, or hide while watching the world go by. Spiracles also help in strong currents, since a shark can keep breathing without needing to face the flow directly with an open mouth. It is a small feature with big consequences. It expands the places a shark can live, and it expands the ways a shark can rest without giving up oxygen. Sharks have tiny skin sensors that detect touch and water flow. A shark's skin is not just a covering, it is a sensory surface that can pick up subtle contact and changes in moving water. Tiny receptors can detect a brush against the body, the swirl of a passing fish, or the shift in current near a reef wall. This information helps with precise swimming. It helps the shark hold position, slip through tight spaces, and adjust posture without relying on sight alone. During a hunt, those sensations can also confirm what is happening at close range, when bodies are near and visibility is limited. It is like having an extra layer of awareness spread across the whole animal. Think about a shark moving through dark water. Eyes can miss details, and sound can be confusing. But touch and flow are immediate. The water presses against the skin, and the shark reads that pressure like a living map. This is part of what makes shark movement look so smooth. The ocean is constantly pushing back. Sharks are built to feel that push and to respond in real time. Some sharks can raise body temperature above the surrounding water. Most fish are the temperature of the sea around them, but some sharks bend that rule. They generate heat through steady swimming muscles. Then they hold on to it with clever plumbing. Warm blood leaving the muscles passes close to colder blood returning from the gills, and the heat transfers across before it can escape. That means the core can stay warmer than the water, even when the shark dives into colder layers. A warmer body can keep performance steady, so the shark can hunt in places that would slow many other fish down. It also opens doors to a bigger world. These sharks can roam into cooler regions, cross chilly currents, and still stay sharp. It is one of those ocean upgrades that feels almost like a superpower. The shark is not just enduring its environment, it is actively shaping its own internal conditions to stay ready. Great whites can keep their eyes and brains warmer for hunting. A great white does not only heat the body, it can also protect what matters most in a hunt: perception and decision-making. Special networks of blood vessels can warm the tissues around the eyes and brain, even when the shark is moving through cold water. That extra warmth can help vision stay responsive, and it can support fast processing when a split-second choice decides the outcome. Great whites often travel through changing conditions. A bright surface can give way to colder depths, then back again, sometimes in a single day. In those moments, keeping the head system steady is a huge advantage. The ocean can be dim, fast, and confusing. A predator that keeps its sensory world crisp has an edge. It can track movement more reliably, judge distance more accurately, and commit to an approach with confidence. This is not just strength and teeth. It is a hunting mind protected by biology tuned for precision in cold, shifting seas. The basking shark filters seawater with gill rakers, not teeth. When a basking shark feeds, it can look almost peaceful. It swims with its mouth wide open, letting sea eater pour in as it cruises. The food is not a fish it has to chase. It is the tiny, drifting life that blooms in rich surface waters. Inside, bristle-like structures called gill rakers strain out that small prey before the water exits. The teeth are there, but they are not the main tool for Edu. The real work happens at the gills, where the ocean's smallest animals become a meal. Basking sharks can appear near coasts when plankton is abundant, then vanish again into deeper roots. Seeing one can feel unreal. A massive shark moving slowly at the surface, not hunting anything you can point to because the meal is almost invisible. It is a reminder that the ocean supports giants in surprising ways. A shark's stomach can invert to clean itself. A shark can do something that seems impossible until you hear it explained. It can push its stomach outward through its mouth, turning the lining inside out. This is not a strange trick. It is a method to remove indigestible debris, parasites, or irritating material after a harsh meal. Feeding in the ocean can be chaotic. Prey may have spines, shells, or rigid parts that are not worth keeping. When the stomach everts, seawater can rinse the surface, allowing the shark to reset its digestive system quickly. Then the stomach folds back inside, and digestion continues as though nothing happened. It is a striking example of how sharks are designed for a demanding life. They cannot risk prolonged illness after swallowing something sharp or unpleasant. Their bodies carry solutions that feel extreme because the ocean offers few second chances. Even the digestive system includes an emergency release and a built-in cleaning cycle. Sharks can sense magnetic fields, using the Earth like a map. The planet is wrapped in the magnetic field, and sharks can sense it. This gives them a kind of directional awareness that does not depend on clear water or visible landmarks. As they move, they can pick up subtle cues tied to location, because magnetic intensity and angle vary across the globe. That information can help keep a course steady during long travel, and it can help a shark return to productive areas it has visited before. The idea is strange. An animal swimming through open ocean, reading an invisible feature of the Earth, like a background signal. This sense likely works alongside others, such as smell and ocean currents. But magnetism adds a deep layer of guidance. It is especially useful when the sea looks the same in every direction. To us, the ocean can feel featureless. To a shark, the ocean is written with hidden gradients and lines. The journey is not guesswork. It is navigation with a planet-sized compass. Some sharks navigate across oceans with repeating seasonal routes. Satellite tags have revealed trips that sound like myths until you see the tracks. Some sharks travel hundreds or thousands of miles, then return along similar paths in later seasons. These routes can line up with moving food, changing water temperatures, or predictable breeding opportunities. A shark may leave a coastal feeding area, cross open water, and arrive at another hotspot right when conditions are best. Then it may do it again the next year. This kind of movement links distant places that humans think of as separate. It also means protecting sharks is rarely a local issue. A shark might depend on many regions during one lifetime, and it can cross national borders without noticing. The seasonal rhythm suggests memory and reliability. The ocean is not a random wander. It can be a schedule written in currents, temperature shifts, and the timing of life events across vast spaces. When you picture a shark's world, imagine an animal that knows the calendar of the sea. Reef sharks often patrol the same stretches like regular neighborhood rounds. On a reef, space matters. Food comes and goes. Hiding places are limited, and the terrain is complex.
Many reef sharks move through familiar routes, passing the same drop-offs, channels, and coral ridges again and again. It can look like patrolling, yet it is also information gathering. A regular circuit lets the shark notice changes such as a new school of fish, a spawning event, or the scent of a fresh kill. It can also help the shark avoid wasting energy in unproductive areas. Over time, these patterns can create a sense of predictability for divers and researchers. You may see the same individual along the same edge of reef on different days. This does not mean the shark is tame. It means the shark is efficient. It knows where opportunity tends to appear, and it checks those places with calm persistence. In a reef maze, familiarity is power, and routine can be a hunting strategy. Sharks can learn from experience, changing tactics after failed hunts. A shark is not a simple machine that repeats the same move forever. Research and observation show that sharks can adapt when something does not work. A prey animal that escapes teaches a lesson. A bait that comes with danger can change future behavior. Some sharks become cautious around new objects, while others become bolder after rewards. They can also learn by association, linking certain places or times with food. Disability matters in an environment full of surprises. Prey changes seasonally, visibility shifts, and competitors appear without warning. A shark that can adjust has an advantage over one that cannot. Learning does not need to look like human planning to be powerful. Sometimes it is a change in approach angle. Sometimes it is waiting longer before striking. Sometimes it is choosing a different hunting ground entirely. The ocean is a moving puzzle. Sharks are not only strong enough to play, they are flexible enough to keep improving their odds. Certain sharks show social preferences, choosing familiar companions over strangers. It is tempting to imagine sharks as solitary, but some species show patterns that look a lot like preference. Individuals can associate with particular companions more often than chance would suggest.
and they may return to the same small social circles over time. That could happen because those sharks share a home range, or because they benefit from staying near known neighbors. Familiarity can reduce conflict, and it can make feeding or movement through a reef less chaotic. Researchers studying shark social networks have found that association patterns can persist, which hints at recognition and memory. It is a quieter form of complexity. There is no need for cuddly behavior to make the point. Choosing who you spend time near is still a kind of social decision. When you picture a shark, picture more than a lone silhouette.
In the right species and setting, you may be looking at an animal that knows its neighbors and prefers certain company as it moves through its underwater world. Some species form loose groups without needing true packs. Sharks do not need pack rules together. In some species, individuals can form loose groups around rich resources, safe resting spots, or important meeting points. A reef ledge with steady current can attract multiple sharks that face into the flow, each saving energy while staying oxygenated. A seamount can become a place where sharks circle together, not as a coordinated hunting unit, but as a shared use of space. These groups can shift and reform, which is why they feel different from wolves or dolphins. The benefit may be simple. Good habitat is worth sharing. It may also be about timing, since mates are easier to find when individuals overlap. Sometimes the presence of other sharks can signal that the area is productive, like a living signpost in the water. The result is a scene that challenges the stereotype of the solitary hunter. You can look into blue water and see several sharks moving together, each following its own path, yet still part of a temporary community shaped by the sea. Some sharks can switch between stealth and bursts of speed in seconds. In clear water, a fast rush can spook prey before it even begins. That is why many sharks approach like drifting shadows, using small tail beats and careful angles to stay unnoticed. They can hold that quiet control for a long time, saving energy while they watch for the perfect moment. Then everything changes. A few powerful strokes can turn a slow glide into a sudden surge, and the distance closes before prey can react. This switch is not random. Sharks often use the light, the current, and the shape of the seafloor to hide their approach. They may come from below, from behind, or along a reef edge where contrast is low. When the burst happens, it can feel like a trap snapping shut. The ocean rewards patience, then rewards decisive speed, and sharks are built to do both. Some sharks hunt by pinning rays to sand with their snouts. Rays are not easy prey. They are flat, strong, and often armed with a stinging spine, and they can bury themselves under sand until they almost vanish. Some sharks have learned a clever solution. They press down with the snout, using the weight of the head to trap the ray against the bottom. That pinning move can keep the ray from lifting and escaping, and it can limit the use of the tail. Once the ray is controlled, the shark can reposition for a safer bite. It is a style of hunting that depends on the landscape. Sand becomes part of the strategy, and the sea floor turns into a wrestling mat. Watching this behavior feels like seeing problem solving in real time. A shark is not simply biting and hoping. It is controlling the situation first. In a world where one mistake can mean injury, that control is everything. Saw sharks slash with a tooth-set snout, stunning fish before swallowing. A saw shark carries a long snout lined with teeth along the edges, and it uses it like a blade. When a school of fish gathers close,
the saw can swing side to side in sharp, quick arcs. The goal is not to spear the fish, it is to stun and scatter them, turning a coordinated group into confused individuals. Some saw sharks also rake the seafloor, stirring up hidden prey and forcing it to move. In dim water, the snout becomes both weapon and sensor, because it is covered in pores that help detect nearby life. The result is a hunting style that looks unlike most sharks. There is slashing, probing, and sudden control, all driven by a head shaped for action. It is a reminder that evolution does not settle for one tool. Sometimes it invents a whole new one.
Port Jackson sharks crush hard-shell prey with flat-back teeth. If you only imagine sharks as slices, this species will surprise you. Port Jackson sharks specialize in prey that is armored, such as sea urchins, snails, and crustaceans. Their front teeth can grip, but farther back, the teeth become broad and flat, built for crushing. It is a mouth designed like a toolkit, with different parts handling different jobs. They often hunt along the bottom, nosing into crevices and reef ledges where hard-shelled animals hide. When they bite down, the shell can crack, and the shark can swallow the softer meal inside. This changes the role it plays in its habitat. It is not chasing fast fish in open water. It is cleaning up the crunchy, protected prey that many predators cannot handle. It also means their feeding leaves distinctive, broken shells behind, like evidence on the seafloor. The ocean has many menus, and this shark is built for the ones that fight back with armor. Leopard sharks can tolerate brackish water, entering bays and estuaries. Along many coasts, fresh river water meets salty seawater, creating brackish zones that change with tides and rain. Leopard sharks can handle that shifting mix, which lets them use habitats that other sharks avoid. Bays and estuaries can be rich feeding grounds, full of small fish and invertebrates, and they can also offer shelter from heavy surf and some larger predators. These areas are dynamic. Temperature swings, murky water, and sudden drops in salinity can stress many animals. Leopard sharks manage those changes with internal balancing systems that control salt and water in the body. The result is freedom. They can glide over eelgrass beds, cruise muddy channels, and move with the tides, as if the boundary between river and ocean is not a barrier. It is a coastal advantage, and it helps explain why people sometimes see them close to shore, in places that feel more like a lagoon than open sea. Bull sharks can move into rivers, balancing salt with special kidneys. Bull sharks are famous for showing up where people do not expect sharks at all. They can travel far upriver, sometimes into water that tastes more like a lake than the sea. The trick is body chemistry. Their kidneys and other organs help control how much salt stays in the blood and how much water is retained or released. That control keeps the body stable as the surrounding environment changes. It is an unusual ability for a large predator, and it opens up new hunting territory. Rivers can support dense populations of fish, and the water may be murky, which allows a stealthy hunter to move in close. This freshwater adaptability also lets bull sharks link coastal ecosystems with inland ones, traveling along paths that would be invisible on a typical ocean map. When you think about sharks, you likely imagine open seas. Bull sharks remind you that some can move inland, following rivers like submerged highways. A few sharks are able to endure in freshwater lakes for long periods. Freshwater poses a challenge for most sharks because their bodies are designed for saltwater life. Yet a small number can remain in lakes and rivers for extended stretches, living in places that seem entirely separated from the sea. The best-known cases involve populations that became isolated as waterways shifted over time, then gradually adapted to new conditions. In a lake, the rules are different. Salinity is low, tides disappear, and food webs can look very unlike those near the coast. A shark that stays must carefully regulate its internal chemistry, and it must hunt in water that may be shallow, cloudy, and filled with obstacles. These freshwater stories are also a reminder that nature does not always stay put. Coastlines move, land rises and falls, and a marine animal can find itself in a new world without ever choosing to leave the old one. The idea of a shark living in a lake feels like a twist, yet it is part of the planet's shifting history. Sharks can fast for weeks, burning stored energy from the liver. The ocean can be generous one day, then empty the next. Sharks are built for that uncertainty. When food is scarce, many species can slow down, reduce activity, and stretch their energy reserves across long gaps. Their large, energy-rich liver becomes an internal savings account, and the body shifts to using stored fuel efficiently. This is not just about surviving hunger. It can support long migrations through areas where prey is thin, and it can help a shark ride out seasonal changes when feeding is unpredictable. Fasting also changes behavior. A shark may choose routes that cost less energy, and it may spend more time gliding rather than powering forward.
The ability to wait is a kind of strength.
It means the shark does not have to take every risky chance in desperate hunger. It can be patient, and that patience can keep it alive until the ocean turns generous again. Some sharks use quick head shakes to tear off chunks of prey. A bite is only the beginning in many shark meals. When prey is large or tough, a shark may clamp down and then shake its head rapidly from side to side. That motion uses inertia and leverage, turning teeth into a ripping edge that can slice through flesh more effectively than a still bite. The technique can be startling to watch because it looks like pure force, yet it is also efficient physics. The shark is letting its whole body help the mouth do the work. This matters with prey that cannot be swallowed in one piece or with carcasses that need to be broken down quickly before competitors arrive. In a feeding frenzy, seconds matter.
A strong shake can turn a single bite into a usable portion,
and the shark can swallow and move away fast. It is a vivid reminder that sharks are not only sharp, they are mechanically smart, using motion as a tool. Many sharks rarely bite humans despite dramatic stories and movies. The ocean is full of sharks, and most of them have little interest in people. Many species are small, deep-dwelling, or focused on prey that looks nothing like a human. Even larger sharks often avoid us, and when bites do happen, they are commonly linked to confusion in poor visibility or to brief investigation. Sharks do not have hands, so they explore with the mouth. That can lead to a single bite and a quick retreat as the animal realizes the shape and texture are wrong for its usual diet. The gap between fear and reality matters because it shapes how we treat these animals. Movies teach us to expect constant threat, yet the daily story of the ocean is different. Sharks spend most of their lives hunting fish, resting, migrating, and avoiding danger themselves. Understanding that difference does not erase risk. It replaces panic with perspective, and it leaves room for respect. Most shark species are small, and many are harmless to people. When people hear the word shark, they often picture a giant silhouette and a dramatic soundtrack. The real lineup is far more varied. The ocean holds hundreds of shark species, and many are about the length of a house cat
or a medium dog. Some live in deep water and rarely meet humans at all. Others feed on small fish, crabs, or plankton, and they have no reason to treat a person as prey. Even on busy reefs, many sharks are cautious and prefer distance. This matters because fear can blur reality. If we only imagine the biggest and most famous species, we miss the incredible diversity that makes sharks so successful.
The shark can be a swift hunter, a bottom forager, or a tiny night stalker with glowing skin. The word covers a whole world of different lives, most of them quietly going about their business. Sharks help reefs by removing sick fish, strengthening the population. A coral reef can look like a carnival, yet it is also a place where disease and weakness spread quickly. Predators can play a hidden role in keeping that system healthier. When a shark targets struggling prey, it often catches fish that are slow, injured, or already compromised. Over time, that pressure can reduce the number of sick individuals that would otherwise linger and pass problems along. It can also nudge prey species to stay alert and agile, which favors stronger survivors. This is not a moral story about good or bad animals. It is a story about balance. On a reef, every advantage matters. A shark that removes the easiest targets is also shaping which traits do best in the next generation. The result can be a fish community that is more resilient, with fewer obvious weak links. When sharks disappear, reefs can change in subtle ways. First, then the changes can become loud. Removing sharks can trigger food web cascades that reshape whole ecosystems. An ocean food web is like a mobile sculpture. Change one weight at the top, and the whole structure can tilt. When shark numbers drop sharply, some mid-level predators can increase because a major threat has been removed. Those growing populations can put heavy pressure on smaller fish and invertebrates. Then the creatures that smaller fish once controlled may expand, and that can alter habitat in surprising ways. In some places, these shifts have been linked with fewer grazing fish that can allow algae to spread and crowd corals, which changes reef structure and the species that can live there. The important point is not one single chain that always happens everywhere. The important point is that sharks often act like stabilizers. They limit some animals and frighten others, and both effects matter. Removing them can be like pulling a keystone from an arch. The system may still stand, but it may not look the same again. Some sharks keep seagrass beds healthier by changing turtle behavior. Seagrass meadows are underwater gardens that shelter young fish, store carbon, and calm waves by holding sediment in place. In some regions, large herbivores like turtles graze those meadows. Grazing can be healthy when it is spread out, yet it can be damaging if it becomes too intense in one spot. Sharks can influence this without even biting. When turtles sense risk, they may avoid open areas, move more often, or feed in shorter bursts. That changes where grazing pressure falls. Instead of one patch being cropped constantly, the meadow can recover and keep growing. Ecologists sometimes call this a landscape of fear. It describes how predators shape behavior, which then shapes habitat. It is a powerful idea because it shows influence without contact. A shark cruising nearby can protect plants it will never eat, simply by making a grazer think twice. In that way, sharks can help seagrass stay lush and stable, which supports countless other species. Shark presence can alter where prey feeds, even without a chase. Imagine trying to eat dinner while you feel watched. Many ocean animals live with that constant calculation. On reefs and sandy flats, fish and rays often change their routines when sharks are nearby. They may avoid open water, stick closer to cover, or feed at different times of day. Even when a shark never lunges, the possibility of danger can reshape the map of daily life. This can have ripple effects. When herbivorous fish spend less time grazing certain patches, algae and small plants can grow differently. When prey clusters in safer zones, competition increases there, and other areas become quieter. The ocean is not only shaped by who gets eaten, it is shaped by who feels at risk. Predators act like moving weather systems. Their presence changes the behavior of many animals at once, and that behavior changes the seafloor community over time. A reef can look calm to us, yet it is full of choices made in response to a shadow passing at the edge of vision. Sharks are important scavengers too, cleaning up dead animals quickly. Not every meal is a chase. In the open ocean, a dead whale, a drifting fish, or a discarded carcass can become a sudden feast. Sharks often arrive to scavenge, sometimes alongside seabirds and other marine predators. This matters because decay in the ocean can spread disease and draw in opportunistic animals in risky ways. A shark that consumes carrion is turning loss into energy, and it helps recycle nutrients back into the food web. Scavenging can also reveal the ocean's invisible networks. A carcass may sink slowly, and sharks from different depths may appear in sequence as it descends. On the surface, the event can be brief. Underwater, it can feed a community for hours or days. Scavenging also rewards strong senses. A distant scent trail, a vibration at the surface, where the activity of other animals can signal opportunity. Sharks are often portrayed as constant hunters. In reality, they are also efficient recyclers, and that role helps keep the ocean cleaner and more connected. Deep-sea sharks live where pressure is crushing and food is scarce. The deep ocean is a place where sunlight fails, temperatures drop, and pressure mounts with every meter. Yet sharks live there, moving through a world that can feel more like outer space than sea. Food is rare, so deep-sea sharks often have slower lifestyles. They conserve energy, they make meals count, and they can go long stretches between good opportunities. Some have softer bodies that reduce energy cost, and some have larger livers that help with buoyancy in the dark water column. Encounters can be brief. A drifting squid, a dying fish, or a falling scrap from above might be the moment they have been waiting for. The deep also reshapes senses. Vision, smell, and electrical detection all matter, but they work in conditions that are colder and quieter than shallow water. When you think of sharks, it is easy to imagine reefs and beaches. Deep-sea sharks remind you that the ocean's largest habitat is still the frontier, and sharks are part of that hidden community. Some deep-sea sharks have huge eyes to catch faint light. In the twilight zone and below, light becomes precious. It arrives as a dim haze from the surface and as brief flashes from bioluminescent animals. Some deep-sea sharks respond with remarkably large eyes that gather as much of that faint light as possible. Bigger eyes can help detect the outline of prey above, the glimmer of a moving fish, or the pulse of a glowing squid. In the deep, seeing something first can be the difference between eating and missing the only chance for hours. Large eyes also suggest a world where silhouettes matter more than color, and where tiny contrasts carry meaning. A faint shimmer might be a meal. It might also be a warning. This kind of vision does not look like the sharp daylight sight we imagine for land animals. It is tuned for darkness. It is built to read whispers of light and to turn them
into action. When you picture deep-sea sharks, picture not only teeth, picture eyes built like night telescopes. Other deep-sea sharks rely less on vision and more on sensing. Darkness does not always reward big eyes. In some deep environments, the best strategy is to feel the world instead of trying to see it. Certain deep-sea sharks have smaller eyes, and they lean on other senses that do not depend on light. They can follow scent trails that drift through still water, and they can detect the weak electrical signals produced by living muscles. Pressure sensing along the body can reveal movement nearby, even when the shape is invisible. This approach fits a world where prey may be hidden, buried, or moving slowly. It also fits a world where saving energy matters. Maintaining large eyes and processing visual detail can be costly. Sensing can be cheaper and more reliable in the black environment. The result is a very different kind of predator, one that seems to hunt by reading the ocean's invisible signatures. It is a reminder that there is no single way to be a shark. Even in the deep, evolution offers multiple solutions, and each one is shaped by what the environment rewards. Several sharks are threatened by overfishing, not by natural predators. For many sharks, the greatest danger does not come from bigger animals. It comes from human activity. Sharks are often caught intentionally for meat or fins, and they are also caught accidentally on hooks and in nets meant for other species. Many sharks grow slowly and reproduce later in life, which means populations can drop faster than they can rebuild. The consequences can be hard to notice at first, because the ocean hides decline until it becomes severe. A reef may still look lively while its top predators quietly vanish. Protecting sharks is challenging because many species travel across borders and through international waters. That means conservation often requires cooperation between regions that do not always share the same priorities. The hopeful side is that recovery can happen when protections are strong and properly enforced. Fishing limits, improved gear, and protected habitats can all make a difference. Sharks have endured ancient planetary upheavals, yet modern pressure can feel more constant. Their future depends on decisions made at the surface, far above their world. Shark fins have been traded for centuries, creating intense harvesting pressure. The fin trade expanded from a luxury demand into a global supply chain, and sharks bore the cost. Fins are prized for their texture in certain soups, even though most of the flavor comes from broth and seasoning. Because fins can be valuable and easy to store, fishing pressure may focus on removing them quickly, sometimes from animals that are not fully used. This practice can be especially harmful in remote waters where oversight is limited. It also affects many species, not just one well-known shark, spreading the impact across entire regions. Over time, this trade has pushed some populations towards steep decline, and it has forced governments to decide what level of exploitation is acceptable. The story is not only about appetite, it is about economics, enforcement, and how a market can reach deep into the ocean. When you hear that fins have been traded for centuries, it is a reminder that human choices have been shaping shark survival for a very long time. Many shark species mature late, so populations recover very slowly. A shark's life history can be built for endurance, not speed. Many species take years to reach maturity, and they may produce relatively few young compared with many bony fish. That means each adult matters, because replacing it can take a long time. If heavy fishing removes mature sharks faster than juveniles can grow up,
the population can slide downward quietly. It might still look normal for a while because the ocean hides absence better than land does. Then, one day, the old rage classes are missing, and the system cannot refill itself quickly. This is why management can be tricky. Even if fishing stops, recovery can take decades. And in that time, the ecosystem may shift in ways that make recovery harder. Lake maturity also makes some sharks vulnerable to sudden demand spikes, because the supply is not something nature can ramp up on command. When you protect adult sharks, you are protecting years of growth and future generations that have not arrived yet. A single longline can catch sharks unintentionally as bycatch. Imagine a fishing line that stretches for miles, carrying hundreds or thousands of baited hooks. Long lines are effective tools for catching certain fish, but they can also hook animals that were never the target. A shark cruising through open water may grab the bait and become trapped, even if the fishery is aiming for tuna or swordfish. The result can be injury, stress, and death. And it can happen far from shore where no one sees it. Bycatch is difficult because it is a side effect of scale. The bigger the operation, the more likely it is to intersect with many species. Some sharks are released alive, but survival depends on hook placement, handling, and how long the animal was on the line. This is why small changes in technique can matter a lot. When people talk about shark decline, it is not always direct hunting. Sometimes it is collateral damage from methods designed for something else. Some fisheries now use circle hooks to reduce shark injury. Gear design can sound boring until you realize it can save lives. Circle hooks are shaped so the point turns inward, which often makes the hook catch at the corner of the mouth instead of deep in the throat. For sharks caught unintentionally, that difference can be critical. A mouth corner hook is easier to remove. It causes less internal damage, and it improves the odds that a released animal will survive. Circle hooks can also reduce injury to other bycatch species, which is why they are part of wider conservation conversations. The shift is not always simple, because fisheries balance cost, tradition, and catch efficiency. But the idea is powerful. You do not always need a brand new technology to make a difference. Sometimes you need a smarter curve of metal. It is one of the rare cases where a small physical tweak can ripple outward into fewer deaths across a wide ocean area. Better hooks do not solve every problem, but they show that practical solutions exist when people choose to apply them. Tagging studies reveal surprising migrations connecting nations through one animal. For a long time, shark travel was guessed at from scattered sightings. Then, tags began to draw lines on maps, and those lines changed the story. A single shark can cross entire seas, slip through international borders, and arrive at the same distant region months later, as if it had an appointment. Some tags record depth and temperature, which reveals a second map that is vertical as well as horizontal. A shark might spend daylight deep, then rise at night. Or it might follow a layer of preferred water, like a moving road. These discoveries matter because they turn conservation into a shared responsibility. One country can protect a breeding area, while another may hold a feeding route, and a third may hold a seasonal hotspot. The animal experiences this as one continuous world. Humans experience it as many jurisdictions. Tagging forces those viewpoints to meet. It also adds wonder.
The ocean feels boundless, yet sharks can treat it like familiar territory, traveling with purpose through places we barely know. Shark sanctuaries protect key waters, but enforcement can be challenging. A sanctuary can be a powerful promise. It says certain waters are meant to be safer, with limits on fishing or trade, and with rules that treat sharks as living assets rather than harvest. Sanctuaries can protect breeding grounds, nursery habitats, and migration corridors.
And they can support tourism that rewards sharks for being alive. The challenge is that the ocean is big and patrols are expensive. Illegal fishing can happen at night, far from shore, and a single boat can do damage quickly. Enforcement often depends on budgets, trained staff, and cooperation with neighboring regions. Technology helps with vessel tracking and aerial monitoring, but rules still need teeth. A sanctuary is not only a boundary on a map, it is a system that must be maintained. When it works well, it becomes a refuge that can seed recovery beyond its borders. When it works poorly, it can become a comforting label with little real impact. The difference comes down to follow-through and to whether protection is treated as a long-term commitment. Some sharks return to nursery areas where young have safer shelter. For many species, the most dangerous time is early life. When a pup is small and the ocean is full of mouths, nursery areas can tip the odds.
These are places like shallow bays, mangrove fedges, seagrass meadows, and protected estuaries, where food is available and large predators are less common. The water can be murky, the channels can be tight, and the habitat can be complex, which all make it harder for big hunters to move in. Some adult sharks appear to use these areas repeatedly across years, suggesting that certain locations are dependable starting points for the next generation. Losing a nursery can be devastating because it removes a safe on-ramp into the larger ocean. Coastal development, pollution, and heavy fishing pressure can all damage these habitats. Protecting nurseries is one of the most direct ways to support shark recovery because it targets survival where it matters most. When you protect the shallow places, you protect the future adults that have not had time to grow. Many shark pups grow fast early, racing past their most vulnerable stage. A newborn shark enters a world where almost everything is bigger, faster, or hungrier. That is why early growth can be a sprint. Many pups feed heavily when food is available, converting meals into length and strength that improve survival odds. A slightly larger pup can swim faster, evade more threats, and handle tougher prey. In some species, pups are born with a head start, already capable hunters that do not receive parental care. That independence makes early growth even more important, because there is no adult protection. Nursery habitats help, but so does rapid development. The ocean rewards animals that can move from fragile to formidable as quickly as possible. This early growth can also shape behavior. Pups may choose shallow water, stick close to structure, or feed at times that reduce risk. Each strategy supports the same goal, which is to survive long enough to become something harder to kill. When you imagine a shark, it is easy to picture a confident adult.
The pup stage is a different story, and it is full of pressure that pushes growth to happen fast.
Some sharks eat only at night, avoiding daytime competition. Night changes the ocean's rules. Vision becomes less reliable, and many prey animals shift behavior, leaving hiding places to feed under cover of darkness. Some sharks take advantage by hunting mostly after sunset, when daytime competitors are resting and the reef feels transformed. A nocturnal shark can move through shallows that would be risky in bright light, and it can approach prey that relies on camouflage that only works when it can be seen. The darkness also favors senses beyond sight, such as smell, pressure detection, and electrical sensing. Night feeding can reduce conflict with other predators because fewer hunters are active at the same time. It can also reduce stress for prey that is adapted to daytime threats, not nighttime ones.
If you have ever snorkeled at dusk, you know how quickly the sea's mood can change. For nocturnal sharks, that change is opportunity. The reef becomes a different landscape, and the hunt becomes a quieter kind of advantage, built on timing instead of brute force. Certain sharks follow the smell of spawning events, timing feasts precisely. The ocean runs on schedules, and spawning is one of the biggest. When fish gather to release eggs and sperm, the water becomes rich with scent and nutrients, and predators notice. Certain sharks can detect these events and arrive at the right moment, like guests who know exactly when the doors open. A spawning aggregation is a temporary abundance. There are distracted adults, drifting eggs, and heightened activity that makes prey easier to locate. The smell trail can spread on currents and act like an invitation across distance. Timing matters because the feast is brief. Miss it by a day and the opportunity is gone. This is one reason sharks can seem to appear out of nowhere at specific reefs or channels, then disappear again just as suddenly. They are not wandering aimlessly. They are tracking predictable pulses of life. It is an elegant form of hunting. Instead of chasing one fish, the shark follows the calendar of an entire ecosystem, arriving when the ocean is already bursting with energy. Sharks can go into atomic immobility, a temporary trance-like stillness. If you gently flip certain sharks onto their backs, something surprising can happen. The body relaxes, movements slow, and the animal can become very still for a short time. Scientists call this tonic immobility, and it has been observed in several species. Nobody thinks it is a magic off switch. It is more like a reflex that can appear under specific conditions. Some researchers suspect it may help during mating, since mating can involve close contact and struggling. Others have explored whether it reduces injury when an animal is restrained by a predator. Humans also use it in research settings because it can allow quick, careful handling for tagging or health checks. What is fascinating is the reminder that even a powerful predator has built-in states of vulnerability. A shark is not only speed and bite, it also has ancient reflexes that can calm the body in a moment of intense contact. Remoras ride sharks, saving energy while picking off scraps and parasites. A remora's head carries a built-in suction disc, and it uses it like a living seatbelt. It attaches to a shark's skin and travels wherever the shark goes, drifting through the ocean with almost no effort. This is not only a free ride. The raora gains food, too. It can grab drifting scraps from a feeding event, and it can pick at external parasites and bits of dead skin. The shark may benefit from that cleaning, or it may simply tolerate the passenger as background noise. Either way, it is a partnership shaped by convenience. The raora gets mobility and protection near a large animal. The shark carries an extra body without paying much cost in speed. If you watch closely, you can see raoras shifting position, detaching, then reattaching, like commuters changing seats. It is a vivid ocean image. A predator glides through open water, and a smaller fish turns that presence into an entire way of life. cleaner fish can enter a shark's mouth and emerge unharmed. On some reefs, there are scenes that feel almost unreal. A shark holds still, jaws slightly open, while a tiny cleaner fish slips inside. The cleaner nibbles away parasites, dead tissue, and bits of food caught around the teeth and gums, then swims back out as though finishing a simple task. This works because both animals follow a silent agreement. The shark gets its mouth cleaned in places it cannot reach.
The cleaner fish gains a meal and relative safety, since most predators nearby avoid rushing a cleaning station. Some sharks even return to the same locations, hovering near coral outcrops where cleaners gather. It is a reminder that shark behavior includes restraint. The mouth is not only a weapon, it can also become a workspace that allows help. On a reef, cooperation can appear in small, practical exchanges. And a cleaner fish calmly passing rows of teeth is one of the most vivid examples. Sharks sometimes breach the surface when hunting, using momentum for impact. In open water, speed can be turned into force. Some sharks launch upward during an attack, and the whole body erupts from the surface in a sudden leap. This is not showmanship, it is physics. By accelerating from depth, the shark can hit prey with extra power, and that impact can stun or separate it from a group. The surface also creates a hard boundary. Prey cannot escape upward any farther, so the shark can trap it against a limit and strike with commitment. Breaching is dramatic, but it is also risky and costly. It burns energy and it reveals the shark's position. That means it is used when the potential reward is high. Seeing a breach reminds you how three-dimensional hunting can be. The ocean is not a flat chase, it is a vertical arena, and the shark can turn depth into a springboard, converting distance into an explosive advantage in a single burst. Some sharks hunt cooperatively, taking turns to keep prey tightly packed. When small fish school, their safety is in unity. A tight bull confuses predators and makes it harder to target one individual. Some sharks respond with teamwork that is subtle but effective. Instead of every shark rushing at once, individuals may take turns making short charges. Each charge forces the school to compress, change direction, and spend energy. While the prey is busy staying together, another shark can slip in from a better angle. Over time, the group of prey becomes exhausted and disorganized, and a capture becomes more likely. This is not the rigid coordination of wolves, and it does not need to be. Even simple turn-taking can raise success rates in a chaotic environment. What makes it fascinating is the hint of social awareness. A shark does not have to be affectionate to be cooperative. It only needs to recognize that another hunter's move can shape the prey, and that waiting one extra moment can create a better opening than charging too soon. Shark embryos can sense danger, freezing movement when predators approach. Even before birth, survival pressure begins. Inside a shark egg case or within the mother, an embryo can detect cues that suggest danger nearby. Experiments have shown that when the embryo senses signals linked to predators, it may stop moving. That stillness matters because movement creates vibrations in water, and vibrations can draw attention. By freezing, the embryo becomes harder to notice during a risky moment. It is an astonishing idea. The animal is not yet swimming free, yet it already has a defensive behavior tuned to the outside world. This tells you how old and intense ocean predation is. Selection pressure has reached all the way into the earliest stages of life. It also adds a new layer to what an egg case represents. It is not only a shell, it is a nursery
where an unborn shark is already responding to the sea, already making tiny choices that improve its odds. The first lesson in being a shark may be learning when not to move. In some species, embryos eat unfertilized eggs for extra nutrition. Not every shark embryo grows on a simple yolk supply. In some species, the mother produces extra unfertilized eggs inside the reproductive tract, and developing embryos eat them. It is called oophagy, and it turns the womb into a pantry. This additional food can produce larger, stronger pups by the time they are born, which matters in an ocean where newborns are immediately on their own. The embryos are not passive passengers. They actively feed, turning available resources into muscle and length before they ever see open water. This strategy also reflects a trade-off. Producing fewer, better provisioned young can be safer than producing many tiny ones in a dangerous habitat. When you hear about sharks, you often hear about their teeth and hunting. This is another form of hunting happening in a hidden place long before the first swim. It is an investment in strength before the starting gun, and it shows how inventive shark reproduction can be. In rare cases, shark embryos can even eat smaller siblings in womb. Some shark pregnancies include a competition that sounds like a dark legend. Yet it is real in a few species.
When multiple embryos develop together, the largest may consume smaller siblings inside the reproductive tract.
This is sometimes called embryonic cannibalism, and it results in very few pups being born, but those pups can be exceptionally robust. In a harsh environment, size at birth can matter. A larger pup may swim faster, handle tougher prey sooner, and avoid more threats in the first vulnerable weeks of life. The process also reveals how high the stakes are. Sharks do not provide long parental care after birth, so the survival package must be built in. This strategy is extreme, but it is also efficient from an evolutionary perspective. Resources are concentrated into one or a few winners rather than spread thinly across many fragile offspring. It is not a story of cruelty, it is a story of pressure. The ocean can demand strength immediately, and in rare shark lineages, that demand shapes life before birth into a fierce competition.
Some sharks can reproduce without males through a process called parthenogenesis.
In a few documented cases, female sharks in captivity have produced offspring without mating with a male. This is called parthenogenesis, and it is a form of asexual reproduction where an egg develops into an embryo on its own. It does not mean sharks prefer this route. It appears to be a backup option that can occur when mates are absent. The offspring are not clones in a simple sense, and the genetics can be complicated. But the key point is startling. A shark can sometimes keep a lineage going even in isolation. That possibility matters for how we think about biology and survival, and it raises careful questions about population resilience and genetic diversity. Scientists study these cases to understand how common it might be in the wild and what it means for long-term health. It is also a powerful reminder that sharks can still surprise us.
Even in well-studied aquariums, they can reveal reproductive paths that most people never imagine. Sharks have claspers, which are mating organs found only in males. If you look closely at a male shark, you can see paired structures near the pelvic fins, called claspers. They are used during mating to transfer sperm, and they are one of the clearest external differences between male and female sharks. The details of mating vary widely by species, but it often involves careful positioning and strong contact in moving water. That is part of why shark courtship can leave marks. Females of some species have thicker skin in certain areas, which may help reduce injury during mating. These adaptations tell you that reproduction is not a gentle event in a world of currents and powerful bodies. It is also a reminder that shark anatomy is deeply specialized for life in water, right down to reproduction. There is no nesting, no cuddling, and no parental care in most cases. Instead, there is an efficient system that works in a three-dimensional, constantly moving environment. Understanding claspers is a simple way to understand that shark biology is not just about hunting. It is also about solving the problem of continuing the species in a demanding ocean. Shark egg cases can anchor to kelp, hiding embryos among fronds. Along some coasts, kelp forests sway like underwater trees, and they can become nurseries in plain sight. Certain sharks lay tough, leathery egg cases, and those cases can snag onto kelp or other seaweed, holding fast as waves surge overhead. The kelp does more than keep the egg from drifting away. It also hides it. Fronds cast moving shadows, and that shifting cover can make it harder for predators to spot the case. Inside, the embryo develops slowly, drawing on its yolk, while the outside world changes with tides and seasons.
The case itself has curled tendrils in some species, which act like natural ties wrapping around vegetation to secure the developing shark. It is a quiet beginning for an animal we imagine as bold. Before teeth and speed, there is patience, camouflage, and a cradle made of seaweed. The frilled shark looks ancient with an eel-like body and ruff. If you ever saw a frilled shark in the water, you might think the ocean had opened a door to the past. Its body is long and flexible, more like an eel than a typical streamlined shark. Around its throat, the gill openings form a frilled collar, giving it a dramatic silhouette that feels almost mythical. It lives deep, where light is faint and encounters can be rare, and its hunting style fits that world. Instead of a high-speed chase, it can curve and lunge with snake-like motion, surprising prey in close quarters. Its mouth holds many needle-sharp teeth that help grip slippery animals like squid. The overall effect is eerie and fascinating, not because it is a monster, but because it seems to belong to another era of ocean design. Scene 1 reminds you that modern seas still hold lineages that look unlike anything near the surface, as if evolution tried many styles and kept some hidden. The cookie-cutter shark takes neat plugs of flesh from larger animals. This small shark has a feeding strategy that sounds almost impossible until you see the evidence. It targets much larger animals, including big fish and marine mammals, and it removes a round plug of tissue with a bite that looks like a crater. The mouth is built for it. The teeth along the lower jaw create a sharp, saw-like ring, and the shark can bite down and twist, cutting out a neat piece in seconds. This is not a kill. It is a fast meal that allows the shark to feed without overpowering prey too large to swallow whole. That strategy is especially useful in the deep ocean, where food can be uncertain and one chance must matter. Many animals bear the marks, clean, circular scars that tell of a midnight encounter. It is a reminder that in the sea, size does not always decide who eats. The megamouth shark was discovered not long ago, showing how much remains unseen. For centuries, humans crossed the oceans believing the largest animals were already known. Then, in the late 20th century, the megamouth shark entered the scientific record, surprising those who thought a large shark could not remain hidden. It is a gentle filter feeder with an enormous mouth, built to capture tiny prey, and it spends much of its life in deeper waters where few observers look. Its discovery was not the end of the surprise. Sightings remain rare, which means we are still learning basic details about its behavior, movements, and life cycle. The lesson is humblu, The ocean is vast, and much of it is difficult to observe directly. If a sizable shark can remain mostly unseen until modern times, then there may be other surprises waiting in deep water or in places we rarely sample. Sharks are not only ancient, they are still in some ways unknown. Some sharks live under Arctic ice, moving through darkness and cold. Under Arctic ice, the sea becomes a world of muted light and long winters. Yet sharks live there, navigating channels beneath frozen ceilings where the surface is sealed for months. Cold water slows many processes, and it can limit the kinds of prey available. So survival depends on efficiency and endurance. These sharks move through dim water, where the sun may barely rise, and where ice scours coastlines and reshapes habitats year by year. Finding food can mean taking advantage of seasonal pulses or scavenging when opportunity appears. The environment also demands resilience because temperatures can hover near freezing, and the margin for error is small. It is easy to imagine sharks as creatures of warm, tropical seas. Arctic sharks challenge that picture completely. They are proof that the shark blueprint is flexible enough to reach the planet's coldest oceans, where ice is not an obstacle so much as part of the landscape they have adapted to inhabit. Sharks can carry parasites, but many also host helpful gut microbes. A shark is not just one organism, it is also a moving habitat for smaller life. Like most wild animals, sharks can carry parasites on the skin or in the gills, and those hitchhikers can take advantage of a strong swimmer that travels far. At the same time, sharks also host communities of microbes inside the gut, and those microbes can be helpful partners. They may assist in breaking down food, processing nutrients, and supporting the immune system, especially when meals are irregular and varied. The details differ by species and diet, and scientists are still mapping which microbes are common and what roles they play. This hidden ecology matters because it can influence health, growth, and resilience. It also changes how we think about sharks. They are not isolated predators moving through empty water. They are ecosystems swimming through ecosystems, carrying small passengers, both harmful and helpful, and revealing that even the fiercest hunter is part of a cool, much larger web of life. Shark skin texture inspired swimsuit and surface designs that reduce drag. Shark skin is not smooth like rubber. It is covered in microscopic structures that guide water flow along the body, which can reduce turbulence and help the animal move efficiently. That texture has inspired engineers and designers who want to control drag on human-made surfaces. Researchers have built materials that mimic those tiny ridges, then tested them on objects that move through water, including experimental swimsuits and path-specialized coatings. The goal is not to copy a shark for style. The goal is to borrow a solution that evolution refined over immense time. This is biomimicry at its most practical. Instead of fighting physics with brute force, you shape the surface so the fluid behaves differently. It is fascinating because it turns a biological detail into a design principle. When you watch a shark glide with minimal effort, you are seeing more than strong muscles. You are seeing surface engineering that we are still trying to learn from. One tiny pattern at a time. Scientists study shark immunity for clues about infection resistance. Sharks live in seawater filled with microbes, and they often get cuts, scrapes, and bite wounds that could become serious problems. Yet many sharks seem to recover well, and that has made scientists curious about how their immune defenses work. Research explores the molecules sharks use to recognize threats
the ways their immune systems respond, and how those responses may differ from those of mammals. The goal is not to treat sharks as magical. It is to understand what strategies have evolved in animals that have been dealing with ocean pathogens for a very long time. This work can inform broader questions about immunity, inflammation, and healing, and it can point toward ideas worth testing in medicine. It also carries a deeper message. Sharks are often reduced to teeth in popular culture. Studying their immunity reveals them as complex biological systems with defenses, trade-offs, and elegant adaptations that go far beyond hunting.
The predator has a protective sight, and it is written into its cells. Shark cartilage has no proven cancer cure. Despite popular myths, a persistent myth claims that shark cartilage can prevent or cure cancer, often wrapped in the idea that sharks rarely get tumors. The reality is more grounded. Sharks can develop cancers, and cartilage supplements have not been shown to be a reliable cure. The myth gained traction because it sounded hopeful and because shark biology feels exotic. But hope is not the same as evidence. This matters for two reasons. First, it can mislead people who are vulnerable and searching for answers. Second, it can increase demand for shark products, adding pressure to animals that are already threatened in many places. Sharks are fascinating without meeting false legends. Their real biology is full of genuine wonders, from deep-sea glow to long migrations. Treating them as miracle medicine does not honor that reality.
It replaces discovery with wishful thinking. The better story is that sharks are worth protecting because they matter to ocean ecosystems, and because the truth about them is already extraordinary. A shark's bite force varies widely depending on species and jaw shape. Not all shark mouths are built for the same job, and their bite power reflects that. A shark that crushes hard prey needs a different kind of force than a shark that snaps up small fish, and the jaw structure changes accordingly. Muscle arrangement, tooth design, and the leverage of the jaw all shape how pressure is delivered. Some sharks rely on slicing teeth and head shaking to tear, while others focus on gripping, crushing, or grabbing prey that is swallowed whole. Even within a single species, size and age can change what the jaw can do. This variety is part of why sharks have spread into so many ecological roles. Bite force is not just a number, it is an expression of lifestyle.
It tells you what the animal is built to eat and how it survives in its habitat. Thinking about that range also changes the stereotype. Sharks are not one biting machine repeated in different colors. They are many designs, each tuned to a different kind of meal and a different kind of life. Many sharks avoid loud, unfamiliar sounds, showing clear stress responses. In water, sound travels fast and far, and it can reach a shark long before anything comes into view. Many sharks react strongly to sudden, unfamiliar noise, especially sharp pulses and intense vibrations. Instead of charging toward it, they may veer away, drop deeper, or speed up as if trying to leave the area quickly. Researchers have also observed behaviors that suggest stress, such as abrupt changes in swimming pattern and reduced willingness to feed. This matters because modern oceans are getting louder. Boat engines, sonar, pile driving, and industrial activity can turn a familiar habitat into something that feels unpredictable. For an animal that relies on steady sensory cues, unpredictable noise can scramble decision-making. Avoidance can push sharks out of good feeding areas or force them into less suitable water. A shark's power does not make it immune to disturbance. Sometimes, the ocean becomes too loud to feel safe. Shark pups often use shallow water as a refuge from larger sharks.
A newborn shark is not at the top of the food web. In many places, the most serious threat is a bigger shark. Shallow water can offer safety, not because it is comfortable, but because it is awkward for large predators. Sandbars, tight channels, warm flats, and seagrass edges can limit the speed and turning room of bigger bodies. That gives pups a chance to feed and grow with fewer sudden ambushes. These shallow zones are also full of small prey, which helps pups build strength quickly. Danger still exists, and the pups cannot relax. They learn the map of safe routes, they use murky water for cover, and they time their movement with tides. This early life strategy shapes where young sharks live, and it also shows why coastal habitats matter so much. When shallow refuges are damaged or crowded with heavy activity, pups can lose their safest training ground, and their odds drop fast. Cannibalism can occur in sharks, especially when food is limited. In the ocean, hunger can change the rules. Some sharks will eat smaller sharks, including members of their own species, when other food is scarce. This is not a constant behavior, and it is not a defining trait of all sharks, but it can happen when sizes overlap and opportunity appears. For a larger shark, a smaller shark is a compact package of protein and fat, and it may be easier to catch than a fast, bony fish. For the smaller shark, the lesson is stark. Survival is not only about avoiding seals or bigger fish. It can mean avoiding your own kind. This pressure influences behavior. Smaller sharks may stick to shallower zones, move at different times, or choose habitats that larger sharks use less often. Cannibalism is a harsh idea, yet it fits a world where energy is precious and competition is intense. Some sharks show site fidelity, returning to the same reefs yearly. The ocean can look endless, but for many sharks, certain places are worth remembering. Some individuals return to the same reef systems, channels, or islands year after year. These locations may offer reliable food, safe resting structure, or predictable seasonal events that make hunting easier. Returning also suggests that sharks build a mental map, one that holds more than direction. It holds familiarity. A known reef has known currents, known hiding places, and known escape routes. That knowledge can reduce risk because a shark can move confidently through complex terrain.
Site fidelity can also make sharks easier to study, since researchers may encounter the same individuals again and again. It can even support local tourism because regular returnees become recognizable residents. The deeper significance is that a reef is not just scenery. It can be home range, memory, and strategy combined. When a shark returns, it is choosing a place with a history. Sharks can be curious, approaching objects to investigate with careful bumps. A shark exploring something new is not always showing aggression. Often it is gathering information. In water, touch can be more reliable than sight, especially when light is dim or the view is distorted by waves. Sharks do not have hands, so they may approach slowly, circle, and make a careful bump with the snout or mouth. That contact can reveal texture, shape, and whether something might be food. Curiosity can also be a way to reduce uncertainty. An unfamiliar object could be prey, danger, or nothing at all.
Investigating helps the shark decide. This behavior is one reason people sometimes misread shark encounters. A close pass can feel frightening to us, yet the shark may be cautious and calculating rather than committed to a bite. Curiosity is a survival tool in a changing ocean.
A shark that learns what is safe, what is edible, and what is risky can make better choices later, and those choices can keep it alive. Most sharks cannot stop and hover because they lack swim levers. Many fish can hold position with almost no effort by adjusting a gas fill organ. But sharks do not have that built-in float. Staying level often requires motion or at least active control of lift. Their fins act like wings, and forward movement creates upward force that helps keep the body from sinking. This is why many sharks seem to glide with purpose even when they are not hunting. It also influences where they spend their time.
A shark that slows too much may begin to sink, and that can be risky in shallow areas or near obstacles. Some bottom-dwelling sharks have adaptations, including breathing methods that allow them to rest. But remaining suspended in open water is still challenging for many species. This constant need for lift helps explain why sharks appear so fluid. They are always balancing gravity, buoyancy, and motion. The ocean might feel weightless to us, yet for a shark, staying suspended can be an ongoing effort. Some sharks can swallow air at the surface, increasing buoyancy for a short time. A few species rely on an unusual method. They rise to the surface and gulp air, then keep it in the stomach to gain temporary lift. This can help them hover more easily within the water column, save energy, and approach prey from below with less effort. It creates an unusual image, a shark using air like a quick flotation aid.
The effect is temporary and not universal, but in certain species, it becomes a helpful strategy. It also reveals how adaptable shark survival tactics can be. Instead of relying only on fins and oil-rich tissues, these sharks add another option when conditions allow. Surface air is not always safe, and coming up can expose them to danger. So the behavior suggests a clear benefit. A brief buoyancy boost can change how the shark patrols, how it rests between movements, and how it positions itself for an ambush. Even in water, sometimes the best lift comes from a breath of air. Sharks can sense changes in water chemistry, including carbon dioxide levels. Water chemistry is not static. Carbon dioxide rises and falls with respiration, currents, and the mixing of different water masses. Sharks can detect chemical changes, and those cues may help them find productive places or avoid stressful ones.
A crowded reef at night can have higher carbon dioxide because many animals are breathing and water exchange is slower. A still lagoon can shift quickly after heavy rain or a tide change. Sensing these differences can guide behavior, such as when to move, where to feed, and when to leave an area that feels physiologically challenging. This ability also matters as the ocean changes. Rising carbon dioxide in the atmosphere influences seawater chemistry, and animals that can detect those shifts may respond by altering habitat use. The story is not only about climate, it is about momento-moment living. A shark does not just read shapes and movement. It reads the chemical mood of the sea, and it adjusts to stay effective. Warming seas can shift shark ranges, bringing them to new coasts. Temperature is a boundary in the ocean, and when that boundary moves, animals move with it.
As seas warm, some sharks can expand into regions that were once too cold, while others may leave places that become too warm or less productive. This can change when and where people see sharks, and it can also reshape local food webs. A new predator arriving can alter prey behavior, competition, and the balance of reef or coastal communities. Rain shifts can be gradual, which makes them easy to miss, or sudden during warm current events that push heat into unexpected areas. Scientists track these changes through surveys, tagging data, and reports from fisheries and divers.
The important point is that shark presence is not fixed on a map. It responds to the living conditions of the sea. As oceans warm, coastlines may experience new seasonal visitors, and familiar shark communities may thin out or change timing. It is a reminder that climate is not only weather, it is habitat, and habitat decides who lives where. Sharks help move nutrients by feeding offshore and releasing waste near reefs. A shark is not only a predator, it is also a transport system. Some sharks feed in one area, such as offshore waters rich with schooling fish, then travel back toward reefs or coastal zones where they rest and patrol. When they digest and release waste, they are delivering nutrients from one part of the ocean to another. Those nutrients can fertilize reef communities, supporting microscopic life, algae, and the food chains built on top of them. This movement is easy to overlook because it is invisible, yet it is part of how oceans cycle energy. Nutrient flow is not only driven by currents and upwelling, it is also driven by animals that commute between habitats. Sharks can be especially important because they travel far and sit high in the food web, turning concentrated prey into widely distributed fertilizer. In that way, a shark's daily routine can connect offshore abundance with reef productivity, and it can support life far beyond the single meal that started the power process. The extinct megalodon likely hunted whales and dwarfed today's great whites. For a long time, the only clues were giant teeth turning up in coastal rocks and seabed sediments. Those teeth are broad, thick, and built for cutting through heavy flesh, which fits a predator that targeted large marine animals. Bite marks on fossil bones have been linked to huge sharks, and the spacing can hint at a mouth far wider than any living species. Imagine the ocean as a hunting ground where early whales had to share space with a predator that could take one massive bite and keep moving. Even the idea of such a hunter would have shaped behavior, migration routes, and where animals chose to gather. When people compare it to a great white, they are really comparing chapters in the same story. One is alive today, the other left behind teeth like stone daggers, and a shadow that still stretches across our imagination. Shark fossils are often teeth because cartilage rarely preserves well. If you want to meet ancient sharks, you usually meet their mouths first. Teeth are made to handle stress, and they are mineral-rich enough to survive when softer parts disappear. Over millions of years, a seafloor can collect them like scattered punctuation marks from vanished lives. Paleontologists can use tooth shape to infer diet. Narrow needle teeth suggest gripping slippery prey. Broad serrations suggest slicing tougher meals. Even subtle differences can separate species, which means a single tooth can be a tiny identity card from deep time. Tooth finds also reveal where ancient shorelines once were, because the rocks that hold them were often formed in shallow seas. That makes fossil teeth more than curiosities. They are clues about vanished coastlines, climates, and ecosystems. A shark may be long gone, but a tooth can still tell you what it ate, where it lived, and how the ocean once looked. Ancient cultures used shark teeth as tools, blades, and ornaments. Shark teeth are naturally sharp, and they arrive already shaped like small knives. In many coastal societies, they became practical tools long before metal was common. Teeth could be set into wood to make cutting edges for carving, scraping, or preparing food. In some places, they were used in weapons where the serrations could bite and hold. Teeth also carried meaning. They were worn as ornaments and traded as valued items, partly because they were hard to obtain, and partly because they symbolized the power of the sea. A tooth on a necklace could be a reminder of a dangerous catch, a successful hunt, or a connection to an ocean spirit in local tradition. This history matters because it shows sharks as part of human culture, not just wildlife. Long before documentaries and aquariums, people were already learning from sharks, using what the ocean offered and building stories around the teeth that washed ashore. Polynesian navigation lore included sharks, linking them with ocean winding. Across the Pacific, voyagers read the sea like a living chart. They watched stars, waves, winds, birds, and cloud patterns. And they also watched Amal. Sharks appear in Polynesian stories and teachings as powerful ocean beings, sometimes protective, sometimes warning, and often tied to places and journeys. In that worldview, a shark sighting could carry meaning about direction, conditions, or the presence of land and reef systems nearby. These traditions were not random superstition. They were part of a wider knowledge system built from careful observation over generations. When you spend your life on the ocean, patterns matter. Animals gather where food gathers. Food gathers where currents and reefs shape the water. Stories can preserve that practical truth, even when told with spiritual language. Thinking about shark lore alongside navigation also widens the topic. Sharks are not only biological marvels, they are also woven into human memory, travel, and identity, especially in cultures that treated the open ocean as a road. Some sharks have patterned markings that let researchers identify individuals. At first glance, many sharks look similar. Then you notice the details. Spots, freckles, stripes, and scar patterns can be distinct enough to tell one individual from another, especially in species with bold markings. Scientists use photo identification to match a shark seen today with a shark photographed months or years earlier. BET can reveal growth rates, site use, and how long an individual survives in a region. It can also show social patterns, such as repeated associations with particular locations or recurring seasonal visits. What makes this method so appealing is that it is non-invasive. A camera becomes a data tool, and a diver's photo can become part of a long record. The pattern on a shark's skin becomes a name tag written by nature. It also changes how people feel about sharks. When you can recognize one animal across time, it stops being a symbol and stops being a neighbor. Research becomes a story of individuals, not just statistics. Many sharks are most active at dawn and dusk in cuscular rhythms. The sea changes fastest at the edges of day. Light levels shift, shadows stretch, and visibility becomes uncertain. Many prey animals time their movements around these transitions, which makes dawn and dusk busy hours underwater. For a shark, that timing can be an advantage. Low light can hide an approach, and changing conditions can disrupt the usual routines of prey. Some fish leave shelter to feed. Others move between deeper and shallower water as the sun rises or falls. A shark that patrols during these windows can meet more targets with less effort. Cuscular activity is not just about darkness. It is about overlap. It is the moment when day and night communities brush against each other. That overlap can concentrate opportunity. It can also reduce competition, since not every predator peaks at the same time. When you imagine a shark hunt, picture it as a schedule as much as a chase. The ocean has rush hours, and many sharks know exactly when they are. Sharks can be vital ecotourism animals, worth more alive than caught. In some coastal regions, a living shark is an engine for local income. Divers and snorkelers travel to see sharks in clear water, and those visits support boat crews, guides, hotels, restaurants, and equipment shops. The value is not just the ticket price of one trip. A shark that returns season after season can bring repeated business for years. That creates a different incentive than fishing does. Instead of treating sharks as a one-time product, ecotourism treats them as renewable wildlife, like a reef's most famous residents. It can also encourage protection of habitats that sharks depend on, because the whole experience relies on healthy water and healthy ecosystems. There are trade-offs. Tourism must be managed well to avoid stressing animals or changing behavior. When done responsibly, it can turn fear into fascination, and fascination into funding for conservation. A shark in the water can become a livelihood, which can change how a community chooses to treat its ocean. Simple changes in fishing gear can dramatically reduce shark deaths. A lot of shark mortality comes from unintended catcher, so small adjustments can have big effects. Hook type, bait choice, and leader material can change what bites and what gets away. Some setups make it easier to release a shark quickly, which reduces stress and injury. Time matters too. Shorter soak times can mean fewer animals left struggling on gear for long periods. Even how a catch is handled at the boat can affect survival, since rough handling can damage gills and internal organs. These improvements are not glamorous, but they are powerful because they can be adopted without redesigning an entire industry. They also create a bridge between conservation and fishing livelihoods, since the goal is to keep target catches while sparing non-target species. When people imagine solutions, they often picture huge bans and sweeping rules. Those can matter, but practical tweaks matter too. Sometimes a different hook, a different release tool, and a better routine on deck can mean the difference between a shark swimming away or not. Protecting sharks also protects the oceans that stabilize Earth's climate. Climate is shaped by the ocean's ability to store heat and carbon, and by the health of marine ecosystems that move energy through food webs. Sharks sit high in many of those webs, and their presence can help keep marine communities balanced. Balanced ecosystems support habitats that capture carbon, such as seagrass meadows and healthy coastal systems, and they help maintain the processes that keep nutrients cycling efficiently. When shark populations collapse, the ripple effects can shift the abundance and behavior of other species, and that can change how habitats function. The point is not that sharks are the only climate solution. The point is that protecting them is part of protecting the living structure of the ocean. It is like maintaining the framework of a building that holds many rooms. If the structure weakens, the rooms begin to shift in form. When you protect sharks, you often end up safeguarding wide stretches of ocean habitat, easing overfishing pressure, and supporting healthier food webs. These are climate-relevant outcomes, even if they begin with a single species. When sharks flourish, entire marine ecosystems grow more balanced and resilient. A strong shark population signals that an ecosystem still holds its full cast of life. Predation pressure can keep certain species from taking over, preventing the runaway imbalances that make reefs and coastal waters less stable. Resilience means the system can absorb shocks like storms, heat waves, and disease outbreaks without collapsing into a degraded state. Sharks add to that resilience by shaping how prey behave and by limiting certain populations, which can indirectly protect habitat builders like corals and seagrasses. The impact is not always obvious day to day. It appears over time,
in how a reef preserves diversity and function instead of shifting into a simplified, algae-heavy landscape. Seeing sharks in a region often means there is still enough food, enough habitat, and enough protection for top predators to persist. That is why sharks are often treated as indicator species.
They are not just residents of the ecosystem. They are part of what keeps it working. As we drift toward the end of our time together, let's take a soft look back at where we have been. We followed sharks through oceans that have changed again and again, across ages that feel almost too vast to hold in one mind. We met giants that feed on drifting plankton and tiny hunters that glow in the deep. We traced invisible senses, pressure ripples, electrical whispers, and faint chemical trails that turned seawater into a living map. We watched hunting styles that range from quiet patience to sudden bursts of speed. And we glimpsed the hidden beginnings of life, egg cases anchored in kelp and pups finding safety in shallow water. And beyond the biology, we touched the human side too. The way shark teeth became tools and symbols, the way modern science follows migrations with tags, and the way protection can ripple outward into healthier seas.
Now you do not need to hold any of it tightly. Let it settle like sand after a passing wave. If any images linger, let them be simple ones. A wide ocean under a dark sky. A slow glide beneath the surface. The steady rhythm of water moving, always moving, without hurry.
If you enjoyed this journey, you might like to rest your eyes on another episode that's waiting on the screen. You can also like, subscribe, or leave a quiet comment if you feel like it. It helps this little corner of science reach more sleepy minds. For now, allow your jaw to unclench. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing find a slow, easy pace. You have nowhere else to be. Sleep well, and good night.